Pastor Jeff is going to fix it. Okay. So, welcome to Center Point. We're happy you're joining us today. And while we're waiting for our typically Hawaiian late arrivers to show up, I'll be reading the Science of Mind thought for the day. So, inner knowing. Oh, that's perfect because that's what I have been looking at lately. There's a whole world out there right outside your window. You'd be a fool to miss it. That's by Charlotte Erickson. Remember that the inner mind knows infinitely more than the intellect. That's by Ernest Holmes. When we were living and farming south of Indio in the Southern California desert, holy moly, the most consistent thing was the weather. About 350 days of the year, it was sunny and clear and really hot. Having come from the Pacific Northwest, this was a luxury. I can recall one year when there was only one rainy week. Up north, when the sun shone, everyone tried to play hooky. Down south, it was the opposite. On rainy days, no one went to work. When we first moved to California, we went about 7 months without precipitation. The first day it rained. I remember Deb and our kids out in our driveway dancing in it. What a sweet feeling. One perfectly sunny day without a cloud in the sky, I saw the most remarkable sight. 2 large king snakes were 6 feet up a date palm, just hanging out. They were easy to see being black and white, maybe 4 feet long. I knew they lived in our oleanders, where they caught mice and gophers, but we rarely saw them. About 2 hours later, the driveway was under a foot of water. A storm had blown in and dumped a huge amount of rain. From a pristine sunny day to the storm of the decade in less than 120 minutes. The snakes knew it was coming before there was any physical sign of it. We have the same ability, but we don't pay attention to it, heed it, or use it. Most of us have forgotten it's even there. We can rekindle that knowing. What it requires is slowing down and listening to our own innate voice. So if y'all repeat after me, the affirmation, I practice feeling and heeding my own inner knowing. I get quiet and listen, no matter what the day brings. Woo-hoo, chicken skin I got on that one. Awesome. All right. Well, today we have Rev Bev from East Hawaii Center for Spiritual Living, and she was just made this year the head minister over there. She's and she's shaking things up, and the people just love her over there. So it's a new experience for those folks, and amazing creations are happening out of East Hawaii. So if you ever get a chance to go over there and visit, you're welcome. So I am going to turn this over now to Rev Bev for our opening prayer.
and allow ourselves to sink into this present moment. And it is in this moment that we recognize the power and presence and wonderment of the divine, right here, right now. There is absolutely nothing else. There is only this. And I know that I am one with it, that we're all one with it, so it is with an ease and a grace that we just drop in with a comfort, with a feeling, with a knowingness, with that absolute joy that is so familiar when we allow it to be, when we recognize and know that this is the truth of who we are, that we have this inner knowing, that we can be a part of it and are it right here, right now. So I know for us as we gather today that we're blessed each by each other, that we're blessed by every hand that brought the service together, knowing that we can stand watch to its perfect unfoldment. And I know too that somewhere in the message today, there's going to be a little gem that'll be yours and yours alone. And so you can reach in deep, grab it, and just say, thank you. This is ours. This is mine. This is for all of us to do in this present moment. So I know without a shadow of a doubt that as this service unfolds today, there is a wisdom and a joy and a love, and there's going to be laughter as well as it does that. And I know it's good. So I just release this prayer, knowing that it is done, knowing that Spirit has said, yes, my beloveds, yes. And together we claim it by saying, and so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Yes, and so it is. And we could probably say that every moment of the day, and so it is. It's all our creation. So I'm gonna see if our wonderful sound tech guy can get a song ready to go. And in the meantime, I'd like to acknowledge Patty for presenting our guest with the lay she made. I'm sure she made it. And Patty has just been our lay minister for so many years, and we're so blessed to have her. It's just been such a wonderful experience. And also like to say welcome to everybody out there in cyberspace. We're happy you're joining us either today or whenever you're watching this program. We know that it will inspire and uplift you. So we're happy to have you join us. All right. And we have no new people here today. I know. And Jeff, do you have a song ready? is normally our song that we sing at the end for closing. However, I think it's perfect to do it now because it reminds us of who we really are here on the Big Island in the state of Hawaii. We are the children of Hawaii. And that's what this song is all about, is knowing that you're the child of Hawaii and that you're here to bless and be blessed by this beautiful place. And bless and be blessed by your thoughts, your gifts, your actions to and from this beautiful place. So thank you, Jeff. That was wonderful. And we're going to have wonderful miracles and ordinary sharing, we hope. So if anybody has a miracle, a blessing, ordinary experience, whatever was extraordinary or ordinary in your life, please come on up.
Good morning.
2012 or 13. And I often don't have anything to share. But today, because we have such few people, I feel like I just want to tell you about ordinary me. And maybe get your support and your love. And that would be a miracle. So I started working with an elderly woman, 92 years old, helping out a friend of mine. And I just arrived. It's my second day. And it's a human thing. And I want to say that we come to Hawaii, we live in paradise, everything is perfect, right? All the bright vibrations and the high vibrations, and we represent paradise, and we are the light, and we talk about rainbows, but the truth is, for me at least, and I don't know about for you, I live in the human world, and I am struggling with someone, like all of this stuff on a daily basis. And I meditate, I pray, I sing, I do my little exercises, but there's just some times when I feel so alone and too much is on my shoulders. And I'm wondering if you ever feel that way, even in paradise.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to be honest with you this morning, and that's an ordinary miracle for me to share those kinds of things in public. I'm doing my best to love myself, and while I love myself, to take care of myself while I take care of others. And that is my little puzzle and my little practice, is to know how to take care of myself while I'm also thinking and loving others. So I hope I can do that in this caregiving position that is enormous right now. Thank you.
Yes.
Who else? Yeah. I felt something for you.
That puppy. Oh.
I'm Gilling, and I've been going through probably the hardest time in my life. I've lost Marie Claire, who we all just loved, and I've been gone for 3 months in order to be able to gain myself back. And I got back, and I just hit the ground, and it's even harder than that I thought when I left. I'm doing okay. I maintain myself during the day. I have way too many things going on. I'm, feeling alone. I don't have Marie Claire to take care of because I really loved her and I really loved taking care of her. And she took care of me. She took care of my spirit. and it was an equal exchange, whether we knew it or we did not know it. I don't quite know how to go on, but I'll figure it out. I have before. All of your friends have been with me. I know in spirit everybody's been really supportive of me and understanding what I'm going through. For me, it's been the second time or the third time that I've gone through major loss in my life, and it doesn't get easier. I would think, well, now you know how that happens, and maybe a half a year and I'll be okay, but that's just simply isn't how it is. Now, I've been working on things. I've been working on my farm. I've been dumping stuff, got rid of tractors that I don't need anymore. Been trying to keep up with the coffee business and doing okay. All that stuff is good. I have a sailboat that I have not sailed for about 4 years, and been diligently working on it for the last year to try to get it back in shape. And it was back in shape yesterday, and we actually took it out sailing. Me and nephew went out. He got a little seasick, so it wasn't very long. He didn't actually have to throw up, so I said, okay, we'll go back in. But we were still out for about 2 hours, so it was really good. So that was a miracle. It's a miracle. And when I steered it back in, I was exhausted, but I thought, well, that's really good. Well, I just want to thank all of you for being with me, letting me be at New Thought. I, went this morning because I just want to be here as much as I can to feel that I'm at home somewhere. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Asha.
This is set for short people. I hope it picked up Geerling okay. Well, so I missed I was here last Sunday, but I didn't share, but the previous Sunday I was in Portland, Oregon with family, and normally, Rob and I are each other's family, plus our cat, so it was quite unusual to be with so many members of my family at one time. The occasion was the 50th birthday celebration for our youngest daughter, Kalani, and she was planning it for months, right? She just felt like after this more than 2 years of pandemic, people needed a reason to come together and celebrate. And and it hasn't been customary in our family to do reunions. So usually we don't have big gatherings like that unless it's, a wedding or something on that level, not just for birthday. But anyway, she really did a wonderful job, and her sister Laura and cousin Shannon were sort of her primary helpers in this big project. And it was kind of made me reflect on family, that. So I had, the two daughters and their families, and my brother, his family, which is like his wife, a niece and a nephew. And then there's cousins. There was one cousin older than me, and lots of cousins younger than me. And it's like we don't know each other very well for the most part, but having these shared experiences. There was the great big party on Saturday night, and then there was a river cruise the night before and a picnic the day after. So it was just kind of wonderful to see how people were forming connections, like kind of renewing old friendships and making new connections after not being, in the same part of the world for a long time. And even like people from different branches of the family who really didn't know each other at all seemed to be getting along quite nicely. And, so it kind of made me feel good about my family, all the different branches of it. And like that, going forward, I kind of want to be a little more present for them. Being across the ocean in Hawaii isn't really much of an excuse anymore. So anyway, I just want, my miracle is just to acknowledge the goodness in the family and my commitment to be, more close to them as these. I think that's another thing that we've all learned from the pandemic, is not to take things for granted. We don't know, how many more opportunities we'll have to be together. So thank you.
Okay, I have a couple ordinaries. One of them, I might be getting a new neighbor, and I'm so excited. And it's somebody that we all know, but I won't say anything until it's for sure. So that's one of them. That was kind of an ordinary miracle. And the other one was I got the most extraordinary picture of a giant pig eating an avocado from my kitchen door. And it was, yes, you could say a miracle because I got the picture. It was ordinary, unfortunately, because those pigs come around and are eating our grass, which is really an issue. And they're quite large. They were little babies just not too long ago, and now they're like this big, and I'm like, OMG. So that was interesting to experience that. And of course, my daughter's saying, don't go out there, don't go out there. But I went out there and I banged on something and I yelled at them and they took off, right? And then my housemate came home and he said, well, I have a bucket of rocks out there. Why didn't you throw rocks at them? Well, I didn't need to. Thank you very much. So it's interesting how we all perceive things in different ways, the same thing. And so it was a bit of an eye-opener for me. And I'm going to post my pig on Facebook if you guys want to see it. You can come to my Facebook page. So thank you. And now I'm going to introduce our speaker. I'm so excited she's here. It's been a while. I get past my messages from my kids here. So Rev Bev, as she likes to be called, who is extraordinary and remarkable and grateful, her words, is the new senior minister at the Center for Spiritual Living in East Hawaii. And she took over the leadership of the community at the beginning of the year. She has been a part of Science of Mind community for 25 years, but realizes that even before that, she somehow intuitively knew, as did I. We had the same kind of experience of knowing all the principles, just not really clear about how to go about using them, right?
The tools.
That was my, I knew, but I didn't, it was like, how? So I got the how when I started going to Science of Mind Church. As a professional dancer from Africa, I want to hear more about that. She had the great good fortune to travel the world, experiencing the magnificence it has to offer, the people, the places, the wonderment. She gives credit to these experiences for her excitement, enthusiasm, and general joie de vivre. She is delighted to be in service to a wonderful community on the beautiful Big Island of Hawaii and overjoyed to be making this beautiful place her home. And I can tell you that I have experienced a change
Yes.
in Miss Bev from the first time she came here to visit with us, not in her spiritual practice or her convictions, but in her embodiment of the aloha spirit of the Big Island. And I'm very, very excited and happy to introduce Reverend Beverly.
Thank you. Thank you. You're so right. It is definitely the aloha, the slowing down that we all were talking about has definitely come into my life. It is it's a joy. It's just a wonderful joy. Anyway, I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you. Let me get this my out of the way. There we go. That's better. Okay. So I am so grateful to be here. And I'm also so grateful to have heard your miracles today and your ordinaries, because my topic today is actually just living everyday wonder. Just living everyday wonder, which is not necessarily that easy. But we're in Hawaii. We would think it would be particularly easy. But as you come to know, and as you said, I've traveled a lot over the world. I started off in South Africa, born and raised out there for the first 22 years of my life. I studied, went to School of Performing Arts, became a professional dancer. And as soon as I could, I booked it out because I wanted to see the world. It wasn't that South Africa wasn't magnificent, trust me. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. If ever you get to see it, visit, go. But you know, the world is this magnificent place. It's a gift that we get to experience however we choose. And that's the key thing of everything I always speak about, is we always live in choice. How did I get there? This is not on my sheet of paper. I don't know why I even bring these things anymore, because I begin and then suddenly I'm off track. But the thing I've always done here and everywhere I go, we always like to start with something that might bring us some joy. And today, when we get into my talk, we'll see that there's a lot of laughter going to be had. So I'm going to start with a joke, of course. I'm going to start with a joke. So there were three buddies who died in a car crash, and they found themselves in heaven getting ready for their orientation. And during their orientation, I don't really know what that would be, because really heaven is here for us, but we'll go with the joke. So they find themselves in orientation. They come to understand that they're actually going to be able to be present at their own funerals. And the orientating angel said, when you're there, what do you hope that you will hear from your friends and family? So, yeah. So the first buddy stands up and he goes, well, I'd like to hear that I was a wonderful friend, a great husband. And the other one stands up and says, well, I'd like to be known as a compassionate person, a great school teacher, somebody that may have influenced and changed somebody's life. The third buddy stands up and he thinks for a minute. He goes, you know what I want to hear? He's moving. Tarang ching. All right. So that's how we get this started. Because today we are going to be dealing with everyday wonder. And where I go with everyday wonder is, how can we see the wonderment around us in the mundane, in the trials that we go through when we're sitting there caring for somebody else, having our own issues on our shoulders, when we suffer the loss, and how do we come back out of it? These are the places where we want to dig in further to acknowledge that there is wonder in every single moment around us. And, you know, we live in Hawaii, and people go, what are you going on about? You live in Hawaii. You have the beauty, you have the magnificent, you have all of the stuff around you. And in reality, we truly know that the human experience is still going to go through those issues, regardless of how magnificent it is. Now, sometimes we have a little quicker route back because we're in such a magnificent environment. We don't have these big dark buildings with lots of trash around us and everything. We have the beauty of nature that can really bring us back a little quicker. But to think that we're not going to have those experiences that take us out of this wonder is to ignore the fact that we're human, and we are human. Oh, we are seriously human. And that's the wonderment about us. We want to be human. We want to have everything that this expression that we were made as, live in its fullest forms, which means to deal with our emotions, to deal with everything around us. But we get to choose our experience. We get to choose how we co-create what is around us. And one of that is to choose when things don't seem in alignment, that we can move back to it. And we can do that by finding the wonderment in the mundane, to literally find the lotus in the mud, to see the gem in the poop, if you want to call it that way, because there's always going to be a gift for us in there. But before we can even find it, what do? One of the great ways to get back, and this is the one I want to address today, is fun, laughter, play, dance. Those are the ways that I'm going to look at. How do we look at the wonderment in the mundane? How do we move our practice? So we're not just sitting in our beautiful meditation in this magnificent environment. We can try something a little different. So first of all, did you hear there was a pastor, a priest, and a rabbit that walked into the bar? They walked up to the bar, and the bartender looked at the rabbit and said, "What would you like to drink?" And the rabbit said, "I don't even know why I'm here. There must have been a mistake in autocorrect. But I'm Ching. All right." They're coming fast and furious, folks. This is what it's going to be today. We're going to be laughing. We're going to be finding a way to do this. You know, the wonderful thing that we have around us is we have children. And children definitely find, and animals. They show us the way. You know that children on an average laugh about 300 times a day. And us, folks, maybe 15. Whoa, that is something we should look at. 300 times. I mean, they just bubble up with laughter all over the place. And we're stuck. We get stuck in this because there's so much to get taken. But there are a great way that we can look at them and go, guide us back. Let me have a look at what you're doing, and let's do some of that. I think that's a wonderful way. And now animals. Oh my goodness. If that's not joy, I've just become a foster mom for a cat that's on the compound I live in. I live in this really beautiful environment in Hawaiian Paradise Park. And there was a little kitten that was gotten by one of the family. They couldn't take care of it. So it's going to become a compound cat. But it needs some love and it needs a little extra care because it's not even 6 months old yet. Well, guess who said yes? I did. This animal is pure, unadulterated, absolute joy and love in every moment. Even when he thinks I'm his mom and is grabbing me with claws and teeth and holding on, because that's what little babies do with their moms. They learn how to play through that action. And I'm like, I'm torn up all over the place, but what are you going to do? You know, train him not to and move on. But they bring us this way of moving back into our truth, our joy, if we're willing just to look at how they navigate life. So there was this traveler who found himself in a monastery up in the Himalayas. And he was having dinner with all of the monks on this one day. And suddenly one of the monks stood up and shouted, 24! And all the monks just started laughing hysterically. And then one of the others stood up and said, 37. And they all burst into laughter. So the traveler looked over at the abbot and said, "What's going on here?" He goes, "Well, you know, we tell jokes. And we've told these jokes so often that it's just easier just to say a number. And we all know which joke it is." So the traveler stands up and goes, 124. Well, there was dead silence, kind of shocked. And then a roar of laughter went up. And the traveler looked at the abbot looked at the traveler, and he goes, "Wow, that was a good one. They'd never heard that one before." We're laughing. Laughter is one of the keys. It's beautiful. And it brings a little sanity to our lives. As in this stupidity and the laughter and just the inanity of it all, we get sane. There's a sanity that brings, and it leads us back to seeing the wonderment. We also take ourselves a little lighter. When we start laughing, this thing that is bringing us down and incorporating and wrapping itself up in us, we laugh, we release these endorphins, and it brings us up. We look at the lightness of who we are. They say, Confucius said, "One joy dispels 100 cares." So in this laughter right here, we've all gone, our vibrations gone just a little bit higher in our joy factor. So that when we walk, we'd have a little lightness in us. It opens us up. We can physically move stuff around inside of us more easily. Me, what I like to do is dance. I was a dancer. So when I get into that place, I'm like, get some music on. Let's get down. I'm just going to love to dance, love to dance. And Rumi said, in order to understand the dance, one must be still. And in order to be still, to truly understand stillness, one must dance. So we get that beautiful, the yin yang, the balance in it. But dancing truly does change how you walk out in the world. It just does. You can't help it, because you're moving energy all over the place, and the movement is just getting you going. And so I think it was Sandra Bullock that said, you have to dance a little bit in the morning before you leave the house, because it changes the way you walk out in the world. So I do that. I think I was doing it before she said it, but how can you not? People would laugh at me, because whenever I put on a dress and I go in front of a mirror, I always do. I'm always dancing. They go, "Why are you dancing?" Most people stand and they look. Maybe turn around. You go, "Let me have a look. Let me see. How is it looking?" Well, I can't help it. And you see the movement in your dress, and it just gets you going. And so one of my spiritual practices that I love is awe, just being in awe. So when you incorporate dancing and awe together, it can change everything. Everything. No matter where you are, no matter what's going on, you take a minute to dance. You take a minute to be in awe of your situation, awe of where you are. Even when you're looking at something, you can be in awe of, really? You can look at it and go, I'm in awe of how bad this is. And suddenly it changes, because you've brought a different perspective to it. It's not just this way. You can move around the gem and look into it from a different facet. And Matthew Fox says, sharing our experiences of awe will lead to an experience of reverence. In allowing one's authentic awe and wonder to be born again, and in welcoming the pure, the child, and the playfulness to come into self-expression, one is involved in co-creation. There is no creation without play. Can you imagine, let's say, for instance, we imagine there is a living man God up there. We know it's not the truth, but just say, as a matter of, we have created God in our image. Do you know how much fun he must have had creating us? I mean, look at the giraffe. He goes, "Oh, let's have a horse with a long neck." I mean, how brilliant. You gotta have fun when you're co-creating your own life, when you're looking out into the world. We're here to have a good time. This is the whole point of us, I think, I mean, we're expressions of God, right? That magnificent energy, that incredible intelligence, not the man, but the incredible intelligence. We are an expression that could not possibly be if God could not possibly be expressed if it wasn't for us. So you know this intelligence had an amazing fun time creating us, creating all that was going on, every flower, every plant, everything that is an expression of God. It must have had fun. It must have had fun. I mean, how much fun do we have when we make a cake? Oh God, I love baking. I love baking. Do you guys watch those baking shows? Oh my goodness. I was watching one the other day that was called Bake Impossible. And it was a baking show where they were called baconeers. These are engineering. So these people were creating engineering wonders. They actually created a cake that was at least 5 foot tall, and they put it on one of those shaking machines, the seismic shakers. They put it on there to see how much shake it could withstand. They actually created a car with a crash test dummy in it. This is all cake, right? Ran at 25 miles an hour into a solid wall to see if the dummy would survive. It did. How much fun is that? And you're looking at this stuff going, these people are crazy. But it lightens up your world. It brings you back into the wonderment, the ideas that these engineers must come together, that they can create cake. These people created a substance. They called it a candy epoxy. Because, you know, you've seen them build gingerbread houses. They put the gingerbread house together and it falls apart because they can't keep the pieces stuck. They created between candy and chocolate an epoxy that was unbelievable. How much fun were they having? Just the ideas that were running around in their head. I got off track there a little bit. Anyway. But one of the biggest things is always to recognize is this idea that we are these magnificent expressions of the divine. We are here to live the best life possible, to be in joy, to be in wonder, to be in awe of this place around us. And as I said before, being in Hawaii makes it a little easier, but it doesn't matter where you are. If you are willing and you choose, you can always take yourself back to that place. So there was a priest, a pastor, and a rabbi who they wanted to decide who did the best job. So they all went out and they came back into the woods, and then they came back to compare notes. So the pastor starts and he goes, he went out, they found a bear. He goes, when I found the bear, I read from him the catechism and sprinkled him with holy water. It was his first communion. Very happy that he was able to convert the bear. The priest said, I found a bear by the stream, and after speaking with him for a while, he was willing for me to give him a baptism. Just that picture alone just wants you to go, that's crazy. And then they turned to the rabbi who was on a gurney, cut up, just a mess. And he went, yep, I guess I shouldn't have started with the circumcision. We gotta laugh, folks. This is going on out there in the world. So we're getting back to the divine, that the divine has no other way to express itself than through us. So right now, the divine is having a great time between us. It's laughing. It's knowing that we are expressing itself in its best form. Dr. Ernest Holmes said, it says, spirit thinks or knows within itself, and as a result of this inner action, creation manifests. Creation is the play of life upon itself through divine self-imagination. Spirit must create in order to be expressed. So Spirit is creating every minute of every day. And when we look around us and we look inside us, we know ourselves, and we know ourselves to be joy and love, wonderment and awe. He goes on to say, there is an ever pressing against us the dynamic force of that which paints the sunset and causes the soft glow of the evening twilight, sings in the bird and plays in the child, and proclaims itself at the level of our recognition of it. Every person is an outlet of the divine. So we acknowledge this expression. And as we acknowledge and become more aware and bring it and embody it greater, it returns us to oneness and it returns us to wholeness. And so often when we are feeling disjointed or away from ourselves or seeing something that is terribly troubling, we want to bring ourselves back to oneness. We want to bring ourselves back to wholeness. And we can. And we can do it through being and wanting to be a part of the wonder of everyday living. We can take it, we can look at it through the point of a child, we can look at it through the animals around us, we can laugh, we can lighten up, and we can laugh and dance. Because if we can see everyday wonder in the mundane, we are honestly celebrating this magnificent life that we have. It is our faith, our simple childlike faith, that restores us to wholeness. The life of a child is lived in natural goodness and wholeness. God is natural goodness. We can return to the way we first began as children, knowing that life is good and it is to be trusted. Out of this innocence, there is a wisdom that springs perennially from the inner life. So when we take the time to play, when we take the time to laugh, not only do we give our physical body a time to rejuvenate, to recenter, but we give spirit a moment to know its true self as us. That is just a gratitude that we express. We connect to the truth of who we are, the spiritual beings, this light that shines so brightly. And we do it as well so that the divine can know itself. And I have that conversation all the time. The divine doesn't care about knowing itself. Oh, yes, it does. And one of my students is going to watch this and go, I got her onto the right side, because we would always have this discussion about the divine doesn't need to know anything. It's created. She's like, nope, the divine wants us to know it. I'm like, okay. So today I say it. Yes, the divine wants to know us and it wants us to know it. So, you know, many, many parents have had children. Remember those days when the kids would run around and they come knocking on the door, can so-and-so come out to play? Come on, let Johnny out. Let's play until dark. Let's play until the lights come up. God is asking you to come out and play. Come out and play. Come on. There's no reason to be stuck in the house. There's no reason to be doing the chores right now. There's no reason. Come out and play with me. Come and dance. Come and laugh as much as you can. Come out and play. So this is what I charge you with. Play. When you're looking at all that stuff on the floor that needs to be cleaned, go, tomorrow I'll do it. I'm going out to play. I'm going to go find the goodness, the wonder, the awe around in everything I can see. I'm going to dance until I'm exhausted. Come out and play. So, my beloveds, this is what we get to do. We get to laugh, we get to sing, we get to dance and do whatever it is that gets you into that place where you can look around and live every day in wonder. And so it is. Let us take this to prayer. We got to anchor this one because we can't let this one go. Let me get a sip of water here. So let's breathe into this moment of laughter, this moment of joy, this moment of feeling this magnificent aloha spirit truly in us, allowing us to be it, allowing us to be this magnificent expression of the divine right here, right now. And I know that God is saying, come out and play. Come and allow your true self to come forward. And I know for each one of us as we walk our path this week that we will see it. We will dance. We will feel the awe of all that are around us. We will laugh heartily and go, ah, I get to live the wonder of being the magnificence of spirit right here, right now. And I know that as we step forward, spirit meets us exactly where we are and takes it even to a greater and a higher level. We get to lighten up. We get to be the magnificence that we were called here to be, and it is good. So I just release this prayer. I release this message, letting it be exactly as it should, landing exactly where it needs to land, and knowing that Spirit has said, yes, my beloveds, yes. You've expressed your intentions, you've expressed your desires, and it is already done and done magnificently. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, we got rabbis and rabbits all over the place.
Okay, wow. I'm torn. I'm supposed to do something. Everybody who knows me knows that when I'm supposed to do something, I usually find a way to tweak it so it isn't quite exactly what they wanted me to do. So now, can you play another song for us? But don't play Let It Be Peace on Earth. I'd like that to be the last one. Okay. It's an adventure! Yay! I love adventures. I'm actually learning the sound system too, and it is really an adventure. Every week, it's something more. And I got my trial by fire last week, which was very interesting. And I didn't make too many mistakes, I don't think. But it was definitely an adventure. So Jeff's going to be playing some music, and we're going to invite everyone up to share their love offerings with us with New Thought Center. And you folks out there online, you can go to our website and give us a gift through PayPal to help us with our programs and keep our lights on and do all those wonderful things. And we're in the process of growing a wish list. And we'll let you know what that is way before Christmas, so that by Christmas, maybe we'll have our wish list fulfilled. So looking forward to hearing from all of you about that. And Jeff, you got it? so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. We are so blessed. I think, as Reverend Bev said, that we here in Hawaii, we have that extra sense of being so very blessed just because of where we live. It does not come without trials and struggles, but the blessings that we see just by opening our eyes and walking out the door are unmatched anywhere. So thank you for being here today. And so we're going to do announcements right now. Okay.
Yes, of course I'm live. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for my beautiful wreath, my beautiful lei. I just absolutely love it. Every time I come, I'm like, oh, I forget, and then I get it, and I just love it. Thank you so very much. The one thing I wanted to do is an invitation over here on the table are a bunch of my cards. Please, if you would like to be in contact with me, anytime, any place, my email address is on there and my phone number. If you would like prayer, please reach out. We're all part of the same global community that's here on the island. I am here to support you too. So please reach out if you would like. And also, if you would like to maybe be on my mailing list and see what we're doing over in East Hawaii, just send me a little email with your email address on it, and I'll pop you on. So then you can just have some fun with us too, because we're all just one family. So thank you so much for having me. Take one of those, reach out. They've got a pretty picture on the back of my church. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome over there. And it's worth the drive if you live in West Hawaii to go to East Hawaii. You know, maybe, I don't know what, 3 or 4 times a year, and just, yeah, go on vacation, go to the zoo. It's amazing. Go to Queen Liliuokalani Gardens and get your spirit totally uplifted. Go to the volcano and visit Pele and say hi and say how grateful we are for her creating this island. No. No, that's not a Hawaiian thing. Sorry, I won't say that. That's a Haole thing. Anyway, so coming up, New Thought Center. Ooh, Sunday services. As you folks out there already know, we're live every Sunday on YouTube, and so you can watch us live or you can watch the video. And Next Sunday, we have Rashani Rea. She's going to be doing the program and the music, and her title is Celebrating the Life and Legacy of Thich Nhat Hanh. The following week is one of our all-time favorites, Kumu Keala Ching. He'll be here. He does the program and the music as well. And his title is Ala Keola, Living the Journey. So he is just, he's our living legacy. We're happy to have him whenever he can make it. And he brings such depth of knowledge and real foundation. And the thing I love about him over some other Kumu that I've met in my life, he loves to laugh. He does. He loves to laugh. He makes jokes and he likes to sing. So that will be wonderful. We have a weekly class, okay, on Mondays every week, I guess, for till whenever, from 5 to 6 p.m. here. On Jinan Wang has short forms for long life. It's Tai Chi and Qigong blended together, and it's a suggested donation of $15. If that's too much for you, there's ways around that, and all levels are welcome. So if you're brand new, if you have limitations, doesn't matter. He can still work with you and help your body get strong. He's really a master at that. I've taken some classes with him. Monthly events. The last Sunday of the month, we have produce giveaway. So if you have extra, bring it. If you don't, bring your bags and take some away. And even if you have extra, bring your bags anyway, because somebody else might have brought something you don't have. So we rejoice in sharing our abundance, and it's always a delightful surprise to see what's there. And that will be on the 28th when Kumu Keala Ching is here. First Sunday of the month, okay, just checking. Sometimes that changes. Pre-service healing meditation with the crystal bowls, and it starts at 8:30 and goes till 9. And the next time that event will happen is on September 4th, the first Sunday in September. Service opportunities, oh boy. Greeters, setup, cleanup, tech help, all of that. Any of that appeal to you, whether you know it or not? You'd like to learn it or not? You're a master at it or not? Please contact one of our board members or just send an email to our email address, spiritof@newthoughtcenterofhawaii.com. And a person to maintain the Facebook page for New Thought, which we may have already handled because Laura Prince has stepped forward. But if you want to help with that, I think it could be a joint adventure for someone. Workshop facilitators. When we have workshops, we have people who come and help with the logistics of the event, and whoever does that and handles all of the little nitty-gritty details of events that happen here, like moving chairs and collecting money and all that kind of thing. If you do that, then you get to do that workshop for free. And we are still planning for our 50th Jubilee, even though it's been a year, right? Or 2 years now. Where are we? Are almost on 2 years. In September will be 2 years of celebrating our 50th. We just announce it every week. That's all. I'm not sure what's needed or anything, but if you have any interest in helping that move along, please, again, send a message to our New Thought email address, spiritof@newthoughtcenterofhawaii.com. And if you'd like to be on our mailing list, the easiest way is to go to our website and just sign up. There's a link on the home page. I hope. Oh, and we have some accompanying music. All right. Okay. Well, you already had our prayer, so why don't we do our closing song? We'll just stand in place and sing "Let There Be Peace on Earth." That's an oldie but a goodie. We haven't done that one for a long time. Doesn't everybody know that song? No. Oh, yes, there is peace. Oh, yes, our new start, yeah. Oh, great. Okay, she has words, folks. And I'll stand up, just kind of, because this is our version, New Thought version of yes, there is peace on earth. And so whatever you hear, just ignore that and follow these words instead. Jeff, you want to turn on my mic here? Last page. Above Hawaii Yellow. This mic is, oh. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that is meant to be. With God as we walk with God in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. A little high there. Ooh, thank you, thank you. Aloha.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that was just lovely. We laughed